Well, the hits keep coming for the Washington Commanders. What is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Dorance Armstrong likely being out for the season. This defense that was already struggling gets even worse. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well. We're like 20 subscribers away from 16,100. Let's get right into it. So, yesterday was an absolute disaster on so many fronts. I mean, your franchise quarterback goes down, and when he was down, you're like, he's holding his leg. You don't know, exactly where he's holding the leg. You're like, is it an ACL? Is it this? Is it that? And whatever. It ends up being a hamstring injury. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Doesn't seem like that's too bad. Everything else, though, just an absolute disaster. And your best defender this year, or at least one of them, your most productive by far pass rusher, Dorance Armstrong, who has 5.5 sacks in 6 games. He didn't really play yesterday. He got hurt early on, was dealing with a hamstring injury, and ended up having a knee injury. So who knows what it is? If the two injuries are related, one, which I don't think so, but two, if him rushing back or not being fully healthy made a difference in the injury, because sometimes you overcompensate when you have injuries and it can lead to more injuries. So it's just something to consider as well. But obviously the biggest thing is you lose your best defender or one of your best defenders, if not your best defender. I would say him and Payne have been the best guys. Kinlaw, you can throw him in the mix too, as one of the good defenders for sure. But he's out, and this defense, man, it's gonna get ugly. It's ugly. The defense has already been really bad, and you lose Armstrong, Dietrich Wise, and then Javonte Jean-Baptiste. You lose all those guys, and Wise for the year, Armstrong likely for the year, and Baptiste I think for the year or somewhat close to that. And the defense, it's just absolutely pathetic at this point. It already was, and without him, it makes it a lot worse. It makes it a lot worse, and you really have, who are you trotting out there as your edge rushers? You're going to be trotting out Von Miller, Jacob Martin. Let's get serious, man. This is bad. This is really bad. I don't know what they're going to do, on the defense. It doesn't really matter at this point because the season's lost. They're 3-4, and I just don't see a scenario where they can win and make the playoffs. I mean, they're 3-4 at this point, and the schedule is very difficult. So for them to make the playoffs is gonna have to be a miracle. And also Jaden's gonna probably be out for this Monday night game, probably the week after that too, is my guess. So you're stuck with Mariota at quarterback with who knows who at receiver, and then you have defensively, you have your top 3 edges out. And then you have, a awful secondary, and Will Harris out. Jonathan Jones, I guess he came back from his injury, but the secondary just sucks. It's not even injury issues; they just suck. I mean, yeah, Will Harris being out, the secondary definitely took a step back after he got hurt, and who knows if he'll come back at some point this season. But at this point, it's not worth it. Like with the situation the Commanders are in, it's not worth it to rush some of these guys back when you don't really need them. And I'm not talking about tanking yet, obviously, but it wouldn't hurt if they didn't, win 8 games. If they ended up winning 6, 5 or 6 or 7, games on the season. I'm not saying they should be in that mode yet. They're a little bit away from that, but it's starting to get to a situation where there's no reason to rush Jaden Daniels back. There's no reason to rush Dorance Armstrong back when, guess what? You're not playing for anything in December, in January. And I don't want to necessarily say that yet because you never know, and we still have 5 at QB. But that's also a question. Do we have 5 at QB? When is he going to be back? And, that's a whole other, topic for, discussion, is when is Jaden Daniels going to come back? Because if they want any chance of being competitive the rest of the year, it's going to have to be Jaden, because the team isn't great to begin with. Then you add in all the injuries they have, and that makes it worse, obviously. And it's not a recipe for success. And if you have Jaden out, then there's just no chance of doing anything. Because with Jaden, he can make things work with some of these, not so great pass catchers and stuff like that. Like the offense wasn't awful yesterday. When Jaden was in there, it wasn't great, but it wasn't, awful. There were times where, they were getting things going, but then, the defense just allows a touchdown at the end of the half. So, Jaden can make things work. He was still, also off yesterday. He made some bad throws for sure. His accuracy hasn't been amazing this season, but he's still been good. Like, I think he has 9 passing touchdowns and 1 interception, or maybe 8. I don't know. Something similar, something along those lines. He's had a good season. Maybe not the same season he had last year, but then also at the same time, do you expect him to when you got Terry McLaurin, who misses all of camp, and that throws things off? You got a new receiver in Debo, and, still getting used to him, and Noah Brown, misses a lot of camp, comes back, gets hurt. Terry McLaurin gets hurt. And then guess what? Jaden gets hurt. So he comes back, or he plays for a couple weeks, gets hurt in the second game, is out for a couple weeks. And, you're getting, he's getting the groove of things, playing against the Chargers and then the Bears and then now, the Cowboys. It takes some time to, adjust to playing with a brace and just getting back in the swing of things when you missed a couple weeks. So, and it's the beginning of the season. He got hurt the, second half of the second game of the season. So he still was, getting not used to things, but getting the rust off from the, off season. So for me, I'm not at all down on Jaden Daniels. Maybe I expect a little bit better play from him this year, but he still had a good season and is not the reason we're in the position we are today. It's, this defense, number one is the defense and, the coordinator we have, the players we have, and then offensively, it's just the injuries we have at the receiver position have been very, very devastating with Terry and then Debo this week and really last week, and then Noah Brown as well, who, at this point, it doesn't matter. Noah Brown, I don't consider him on the team. But real quick, a word from today's sponsor. And a huge shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. So we have 2 exciting matchups today in the NFL Monday Night Football. You got the Bucs and the Lions facing off, and then you got the Texans and the Seahawks. So 2 hopefully great games for Monday Night Football. You can make picks on them on Sleeper, and there's a bunch of different options for you guys to make. Use promo code Pedro on Sleeper and get a 100% match up to $100. Link in the description. Terms and conditions apply. All right, huge shout out to Sleeper there. Let's talk about a little bit more about Dorance, Armstrong, Jaden Daniels, stuff like that. So Dorance, I just looked at the play where it happened, and I don't want to say, what the injury is going to be. It's a knee injury, but we don't know the specifics. But from what I saw, it was non-contact, and it just looked like, something popped or hyperextended. So I don't know exactly the extent of the injury, so we'll wait and see. But we know that it's going to probably be the rest of the season where he's out. Like, even if they were competitive, it would be rest of the season, but it would be, a while is what they're saying. But especially if they're not competitive, there's no reason for him to come back this year. So, it is unfortunate. I'm just really hoping it's not a torn ACL or anything like that. If it is, he probably would be able to come back for the start of next season for sure. I mean, Sam Cosmi was, tore his ACL. We're in week 7. He tore it like 13 weeks after and came back at week 6. So I think Dorance would be fine if that happened, but obviously that would suck. And, I'm hoping that is not the case for Dorance Armstrong. And, hopefully it's just like a hyperextension or something like that. But don't know the details, so we'll wait and see on that one. And just, praying for him. Hopefully, the recovery goes well. Same thing with Dietrich Wise, who was out there for the Commanders game. Jaden Daniels, he said he wanted to go back in. That's really good news. The fact that he said that, he is a tough guy, so, maybe that doesn't mean a lot. But, if it was really, really bad, I don't think he would have said that. So, seems like he's fine. Maybe he'll be out for a week or 2. He's a quick guy. He uses his feet a lot and his legs to run. So it's not like he can just rush back from a hamstring injury, which is a big deal for a guy like him that uses that twitch and uses that speed a lot. So I think he'll be out probably a couple weeks. and we'll go from there. And I don't know. I really at this point want to see the young guys play. I would trade some guys away. I know that's maybe not what people want to hear, and I'm not trying to say the season's over yet, but pretty much it is, guys. It pretty much is, unless a miracle happens. So I want to see Jordan McGee play a lot more. I want to see, who else? Ben Sinnott, man. The guy has got one catch in the season in his second year. Need to see more from him. And then, get the ball to Luke McCaffrey more. Get the ball to Jalen Lane more. I want to see more from those guys. I'm not saying all those guys have underperformed. I'm just saying I want to see more opportunities for those guys. Another guy is Johnny Noon. Why is Sheldon Day out snapping him? I don't know. That's a second-round pick from last year. You had 3 second-round picks last year. None of them have impressed. Mikey Sanders had a great rookie year. It's all gone downhill from there for him. So I'm not saying it's a, foregone conclusion that he's going to be a bad player. But, we don't know yet. It's a question mark when we thought it was, a guy that for sure was going to be a good player for a while for us. That's what we thought with Mikey Sanders still after his first year. Now we don't know that. Ben Sinnott, I have no expectations for him. I know some people are still defending him. For me, I haven't seen anything, so I can't really say that he's going to be successful. And then Johnny Noon, he's shown some stuff. I think he's been good, so I want to see more from him, but, still been a little bit disappointing there. But I, again, want to see more opportunities for him. Sheldon Day should not be out snapping him. But that is it for today's video. It does suck. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. The Commanders got super lucky last year with injuries. This year, it's been the complete opposite. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.